What's up, everyone? Excited to give this video today about Carvana. So we've called this name out at about $7. We called it out once we broke this resistance level at $20, and we've been very, very correct about this stock. And I do believe we are still in a pretty decent spot technically. But first off, let me just say this is not financial advice, so please do your own research in D&D. What I'll be going over in this video is I'll cover the chart and I will give a price prediction for shares. I'll go over some updated short interest information because we got new short interest info this week, and then I will go into a lawsuit that is currently being filed. So with that being said, let's dive right in. So we moved over this $20 resistance level in early June, which is where shares had topped out in February. It's also where shares had bottomed in July and in June of 2022. And this level has acted as firm support once we came back down to test back in June on the 26th. And we had called all of these moves in the Discord. So shout out if you're in the Discord and you got those option gains. So we came above this $20 resistance level, moved higher, and then came back down to test this level and moved off of this level. So this $20 resistance level is firm, past resistance level, now acting as a firm support for shares. So why I think this level is so significant is once we broke this $20 resistance level, we actually had a massive spike in volume. And for those that don't know about technical analysis, whenever you break a support or resistance level, and that coincides with a massive jump in volume, that break is assumed to hold once you come back down to test it, which once we came back down to test just last week, we held and moved higher, and that was all predicted in the Discord, where I put out my daily buys and sells, but which is linked in the description below if you're interested. But the stock does have massive support at $20, as I said, and bullish momentum. So the 50-day moving average crossed above the 200-day moving average on June 21st, which is a signal of bullish momentum. It's definitely the most widely watched and followed daily moving average signal for shares, for stocks or really anything with a price. So awesome to see bullish momentum trends, and all these daily moving averages are looking very healthy. And also we have the 100-day moving average about to cross over the 200-day. In fact, it looks like it actually just happened here on Monday. We had the 100-day moving average cross above the 200-day moving average, and that is similar to the 50-day crossing above the 200-day. It's just a bullish sign of momentum. Anytime you get a smaller moving average crossing over a larger moving average, like the 100 crossing over the 200-day moving average, it's a sign of bullish momentum. So really good to see there. And in terms of where we are headed from here, so we closed at about $26 on Monday, and now it does look like we are at a inflection point. It's really hard to call this one, honestly. It does seem as if we're in a bit of no man's land. So there's really two things that could happen from here, in my opinion. So we could continue up to resistance at about $31, which is where shares had bottomed in September of 2022. It's also where shares had topped out back in June of 2022. So if we come up to this level, we will also likely be overbought according to RSI if we see them move higher. Therefore, I believe if we come up to this level, we likely see some consolidation and a move lower over the coming weeks for shares. Or really it could be a quick consolidation and then a move higher above this support level at about $31. So, how I will be playing this stock in terms of what I'll be looking for my next buy is if we break this $31 resistance level, I think we likely move higher over the coming weeks. And you could really say this $58 level here is where we found some resistance back in September of 2022. I think it would be likely an area where we would find resistance again if we are able to cross above this $31 resistance level. So that is kind of my trading plan. If we move over 31, I will buy some shares. And alternatively, if we move lower, let's say we come back down to test this support level at 20 bucks, well, that's a pretty easy buy right there, and I will definitely be adding some shares as I expect that $20 level to hold. So really two situations which I am looking to add some shares is if we come back down to support at about 20 bucks, I think we likely move up to resistance at $30 once again. And then if we cleanly break this level with some decent volume, then at this $31 level, I should say, then I think we would likely move up to $58, which is where shares had topped out in August of 2022. So those are kind of the two situations in which I'll be diving headfirst into some shares and some short-term calls. So that is my trading plan for Carvana. And then in terms of seasonality trends, this screen shows me what month the stock typically does best in, what month the stock typically does poorly in. So you can see here in July, shares typically rise 27%, and in August, shares typically rise 41%. So we have a bullish technical setup combined with this bullish seasonality trend. You add it all up, I think it's very likely that Carvana continues to move higher. And then when we take a look at short interest, so about 60% of the float is sold short. We did see a decline in short interest over the past 2 weeks. For those that don't know, we get updated short interest every 2 weeks, and we got that update last week, and we saw a decline of 1% for short interest. Days to cover is 2.1, which for those that don't know, that basically means that it takes 2.1 days of average volume to cover the shares that are sold short. So this really isn't a great number here in terms of likelihood for a short squeeze. I would give this kind of like a D minus and F plus. It's not very likely that we see a short squeeze with a days to cover at 2.1. Typically, when we look for days to cover, as a measurement of likelihood for a short squeeze, we're looking for over 10. A 10 plus days to cover shows you that the stock is likely to have a short squeeze over the coming weeks to months. So with a days to cover of 2, I wouldn't say it's very likely for the stock to have a short squeeze anytime soon. But with that being said, fingers crossed, hope it happens anyway. And let's just take a look at this lawsuit that is pending. So this law firm here, Promerzant, probably pronouncing that wrong, is filing a suit against Carvana. And this is basically all based on the Forbes article that reported Hyperspot Industries, formerly one of Carvana's reconditioning vendors, regularly submitted duplicate billings to Carvana. So I went through all this in a video in the past, but just to kind of briefly explain it here. So Hypersport is used to help kind of buff out dents and fix some painting for Carvana's cars. And the issue is Carvana was double charging Hyperspot was double charging Carvana for a couple fixes. And you may think, well, why would Carvana do this? Well, Carvana has executives that have a significant amount of money invested in Hypersport, this private business. Therefore, they had incentive and monetary gain from this double billing of Carvana services. So basically, Hypersport was billing Carvana more than the services it was providing, which is definitely collusion and somewhat of a and could be fraud. But to be very clear, there is no government investigation into this. This is simply just an article written by Forbes, and now we're seeing this lawsuit kind of ensue. So this tells me that we could see this news hit the stock soon. Obviously, we found this out on July 3rd after the close. So shares haven't really fully reacted to this law firm investigating claims. So could see some downside here on Wednesday once shares open up. Like I said, I'll be holding that. I'll be trading based on that trading plan regardless. But it is somewhat notable to kind of keep this on your radar here. And then we can see this company pretty much only does shareholder lawsuits, and they have some interesting lawsuits pending as well. Icon Enterprises, they had sued them, and the stock, pretty much got cut in half since that time. And then First Horizon as well. Peloton's being sued by them, so they're leading a lot of lawsuits against big companies and have had some really negative effect on companies such as Icon Enterprises, which has fallen a significant amount, since this lawsuit. So not not a good sign here that they're being sued. Obviously, though, there's no government, investigation going on. This is all simply words on a piece of paper with a lawsuit attached to it. But we will see how this plays out. Likely shares will move lower Wednesday in reaction to this news. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will end the video there. If you got some value from this video, please leave a like. We post company breakdowns and important market moving news on this channel on a daily basis, so make sure you are subscribed. If you would like to receive my daily portfolio moves, my exits, my entries, and see how me and my team of analysts are trading the markets, join the Discord through the link in the description below to get our free 7-day trial. Also, if you would like to join our free daily newsletter, sign up to our Substack, which is linked below as well. With that being said, good luck everyone. Happy trading, happy investing.